Yo, check it. Ninth and 10th regions, stand up. I say stand up. Stand up. Bright lights shining, about to put on the show. The Stay Hot podcast where the real ones go. High school hoops, future legends on deck. Talking next up, star sport and Nike check. From the hardwood grind to the highlight play. Breaking ankles, dropping dimes, scoring every way. Chasing big moments in every manner. From driveway dreams to championship banners. It's the passion, the culture, the hustle, the grind. Every jumper, every crossover, greatness defined. Shooting the deep three or rocking the rims on a small town stage or in sold out gyms. So lace up your kicks, turn the volume up. The season don't end till we get to rough. Future legends in the making, every player grinds. A Stay Hot podcast where the stars align.
PK, I think you're still muted.
My bad. I am muted. I'm sorry. I was too anxious to get going. I was just saying that we are the Stay Hot podcast, and we are sponsored by Link NKY, the largest newspaper in Boone, Kenton, and Campbell counties. And I'm going to go ahead and get started with this because I'm excited for our guest tonight, coach of the Highland Bluebirds, Kevin Listerman. And I titled our show tonight, Bluebirds Up, Redbirds Down, because our next guest, Ivan Rice, is a huge Cardinal fan, and I'm a huge Cardinal hater. And I'm a Bluebird fan because of Coach Listerman. So I'm hoping I can get a few jabs in at a Doctor of Sports a little bit later on about the Redbirds. And Coach, thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. I know you've had a busy Sunday, and after seeing your game yesterday with Ballard, I know that you had a busy day yesterday as well. But thanks for your time tonight.
Glad to do it. Thanks for having us. I think this is awesome. Anytime we get to talk hoops, I'm in.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm with you.
Yeah, again, Coach, thanks for having us. You guys are off to a great start this year, and I think we knew coming into the season you guys were going to be a good ball team. But here we are, sitting here through 3 weeks. You guys are 6-0 and rolling along and scoring a lot of points doing it. So 3 weeks in, what are you taking away from your ball club early on? And we'll get into some more here in a little bit.
I think the biggest thing is our maturity. Last year we didn't have any seniors, and we went through some growing pains and lost some very winnable games. And we challenged the kids coming out of last season with the intangible things and, understanding how to make winning plays. And we've had some seniors. Owen Ebert is one of our best that has really taken the challenge and simplified things for him defensively. And he creates a lot of havoc and is really taking that challenge. Last year he was much more focused about his offense, and he's still a very good offensive player, but the pride that he's taken on the defensive end. Finn Bolden's another guy. He's our leading scorer, but he's also our leading rebounder at a 6'2" guard. And, to have those guys take on those roles and responsibilities has really been a surprise and in a great way. And then the other part, just our culture in our locker room and when we step on the floor, just a level of competitiveness. There's a different sense of purpose with this group.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm confused here. So the Billy Hicks Classic, did you guys kind of have to improvise that and then find a place? And you ended up going up to, I guess it was McNick, right?
Well, it was kind of a quirk in the schedule. So we had agreed to play Oldham County at our place in a regular season game. And then we had agreed to play in the McNick, the Queen City Classic yesterday. And the coach over there said, well, do you want to play Cincinnati St. X or would you rather play Louisville Ballard? And I said, look, my kids will get way more excited about playing Louisville Ballard just because it's a school in Louisville. It's in the state. Like, it'll be a great game for everybody. And so we committed to that game. And then we got invited to the Billy Hicks. I said, yeah, we're in. It works out well. And then I got the brackets, and Oldham County was in it, and Ballard's on the other side of the bracket. So I told our kids, I said, guys, there's a really good chance We're going to play Oldham County Ballard, and we're going to turn around and play them the next Friday, Saturday. And with the weather, it really threw a wrench into things last weekend. The people at Scott County did a phenomenal job orchestrating and getting all the games in, at least getting to the championship game. And since we already had the game on the schedule, everybody mutually agreed to say, hey, look, we're just going to count this as the Billy Hicks Classic. So we were able to double dip yesterday with that one, and it was good for our kids.
And with what you guys are doing offensively, it's some impressive stuff. You're putting up nearly 90 points a game. You've cleared 100 a couple times already this year. And then, you look at the efficiency. Anytime as a team you're shooting right around 50% from the field, you're very close to 40% from the three-point line, and then 65% from the free throw line. What are you what are you attributing that success to on just how you guys have been able to execute offensively and be able to put points up in a hurry?
It's a couple combination of things. One, our defense has been really good this year, and I know that there's going to be a lot of people that says Highlands in defense, and that doesn't. But we really have. Our kids have done a great job. We've adjusted some things, particularly with our pressure and kind of how we're handling things in the half court, and we are creating a lot of turnovers, not just with our press, but even in the half court. And we've done a good job. For the most part, holding teams. Like even yesterday, we only gave up 45% shooting. And when you play at the pace that we do, you're going to give up some easy baskets along the way. So that's the first part. The second part is our kids are so unselfish. I mean, they really enjoy sharing the basketball. And we talked about it. We went through a stretch late yesterday. We got down 14 in the second quarter. And I took a timeout and I said, guys, we're just settling. The shots aren't bad for us, but we're not in a good rhythm where they're going to fall. And, they all looked at each other and said, yeah, okay, we got to attack and kick. And all of a sudden we did that and the game flipped and we got right back into it. So, those two things are probably the most important. And then our kids understand shot selection, what we're after and what we want. And they know the difference between an okay shot and a great shot. And they celebrate each other's success with that. And they're just a lot of fun to be around and coach.
The father-son dynamic, Vinny being a senior this year. And then, you got your other son, Dom, on the team as well. How do you kind of balance that, to where, once you guys walk in that gym at that point in time, is it, hey, I'm coach now, everything else kind of is thrown out the window. And how much pressure do you think that maybe puts on those guys, or they just kind of, shake it off and they're kind of used to it by now?
All of it. The short answer. Vinny started for us as a freshman, and that was not something I wanted to do at all. Mm-hmm. But we had some injuries and some sickness, and he was the next guy. And one of my assistants, Scott Blassingame, who's been with me for a long, long time, he said, if his last name wasn't Listerman, would you even think about it? I said, no, he's the right guy. He said, then you got to do it. But at the same time, there were a couple of times his freshman year where he made a mistake, but it was like the third mistake in a row. Like we had player A made a mistake, player B made a mistake, and then he was player C, and he caught the full wrath for A and B. And he came off the floor late in that year. He's like, Dad, I really didn't make that mistake. I said, I know. I said, but it was the third one. And I said, it just happened to be you. And then at the end of his sophomore year, we had a conversation. He's like, Dad, you kind of got to ease up on me. I've been here 2 years. I said, you know what? You're right. I said, I got to treat you like a senior as opposed to a sophomore because you've already been through 2 seasons. And so that really helped. And then my other assistant, John McSorley, he totally put a light in my world that I didn't understand. And he said, when you light your sons up, which in practice, all my players catch my wrath at some point in time. And my sons are no different. He said, but what you don't understand, when you light a different kid up and you're hard on them, it's just coach correcting them. Mm-hmm. When you do it to your son, they take it and they're letting dad down. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. And so neither one of my boys had ever said that to me. And I asked him the question. I said, it's hard for you to look at me and see me as a coach, isn't it? Like they understand the coaching part, but it's always Dad. And so that moment changed a lot of things. Now I still get on him in practice like I do all my other players. But it definitely made me consider how hard or that message is delivered. Now, Friday night, Vinny had a stretch where he had some turnover the second half, and he had his fourth turnover in a game, and he hasn't had 4 turnovers in a long time. And he came over. He's like, "What do you want me to do?" I said, "I want you to quit throwing it to the other team." And I looked at him and said, "You're so much better than that." And so that was, and I was on him pretty hard. And we took him in, and I looked at him. I said, "You're good." And he says, "Yes." And he played really well after that. So it's a unique balance. And I played for my dad, but he wasn't the head coach. And I think that it has been a pure joy to watch them both develop, to watch them both have moments on the basketball floor. Vinny had a buzzer beater last year against Beechwood. He played really well yesterday, got named player of the game. So to be able to be there as dad and coach for those situations was awesome. My younger son, Dominic, he plays football, plays basketball. He's had some great moments in football. And actually last year in the freshman regional championship made some big time winning plays, even though they weren't baskets. But that, there's the coach in you that's like, you just made the play so somebody else can make the play so we can win. And I get stoked about those things. And so when it's your sons that step up and do it in those moments, I celebrate a lot more internally than I do externally, but awfully proud of both of them.
And is Andy on your staff as well?
Yeah. So
okay.
I got
that's your brother.
Yeah. So Andy's 2 years older than me, and we were a year apart, and obviously had a lot of success in high school and college together. And he's been with us now. I think this is year 6. He spent a couple years, 3 or 4 years with our freshman team.
Okay.
And, I basically been talking with our guys on our staff is like, we need him up here with our JV and our varsity with his insights. And he is a masterful tactician and teacher with skill. And, his way of seeing the game is a little bit different than mine. And that perspective is really good to have. And, it's funny. So when he was when he was on the freshman staff, he coached both Vinny and Dom. And Vinny's like, "I don't know what to call you. Do I call you Uncle Andy, Coach Andy?" He goes, "Maybe I'll just call you Uncle Coach Andy." And so that kind of became a thing. So it's been a lot of fun. Basketball has been so good to my family, and we've been so blessed with it. And to be able to share this all the way across the 4 of us is something very special.
It's really neat. And then did you guys play together at NKU? Is that right?
Yeah. So my first 3 years we played. Andy and I both got inserted in the starting lineup early January of my freshman year, and we took off and had a great run and got to the national championship.
Yeah.
Then the second year we basically had everybody back, and we added a couple pieces. The other one that's on my staff is Andre McClendon. So Andre was a senior my freshman year. And, he brings such a great dynamic and energy for our guys. And I'm blessed with just a phenomenal staff. And it makes going into the gym every day a whole lot of fun. The kids enjoy being around each other, being around our staff. And, it's really a true joy.
And you had a nice little welcome addition last week when Tayden decided he wanted to come play basketball. I mean, I know it's something that you told me in the summer, no pressure. You wish the best for him when it comes to football, but obviously I'm sure it's nice to have him back playing basketball. And it's just a kid that he seems like he just loves playing ball with his friends.
Well, and I think that was the part that he missed. And as an adult, you have that perspective. You can step back, right? So when he came to me at the end of last season and we talked, I have individual meetings with all of our kids, postseason and preseason, and then we have some during the year. He talked to me. He's like, "Coach, it's not a lot of fun, and he was feeling pressure of what was coming for football and the expectations, and he needed some time. And I told him from day one, I said, look, I know a little bit about being in a shadow of somebody who's been highly successful. I said, I cannot pretend what it's like to live in the shadow that you have to live in. I said, but I want you to know that I am going to be 100% supportive of whatever you do. And I'm going to be here to help you be successful, whether you play another minute of basketball or not. And I left him at that. Like that was the last time we ever talked basketball. Now I'd see him in the hallways and I kind of check in on him, but that was pretty much it. And then we played our first game at St. Henry, and we had a great student section. We got our guys really have some neat connections, and Tatum was behind the bench, sat in the front row, and I kind of made eye contact with him, and I didn't think anything of it. We won the game, and I get in the car on the way home, and I got a message from him. It was about a page and a half. He goes, Coach, the vibe is different with this team than it was last year. He goes, I just want to be a part of it. And so I said, I appreciate where you are, but we've got to have an understanding about what your expectations and goals and outcomes for this year are. Because as a program, I kind of looked at it like he had graduated, right? Like every year you graduate seniors, Tatum graduated, so he's not coming back. And so we had shifted. Like I wasn't sitting there going, well, if Tatum comes back, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. Right. Like that ship had sailed. So I really wanted to make sure that he was in the right mindset for things. So we gave him a couple of days. I said, you need to talk to the seniors, and our seniors really collectively embraced him. But they also told him, they said, look, man, we've put in a lot of work, and we need you to just come in and be part of the process. And he was like, that's all I want to do. I want to be a great teammate. He goes, I know that I have to be a leader next year for our football team, and I see what you guys have done, and I want to learn how to be that type of leader for us as a program next year. Like this is his conversation with our kids, and they're like, yeah. And he has been awesome as a teammate. He's always been a great teammate, but even more so in our practices and our competitions and things like that. And then yesterday he had a monster game. His IQ, his athletic IQ is just off the charts, and ability to see things and pass and just make things happen is very, very unique.
His athleticism is so deceiving. Like I'm going back to the Cooper game this year in football, and he hurdles a kid, and you're like, where did this come from? And then you see flashes of Jared. It's like really, really neat to see that. Like, and it's just like,
yes,
it's just a great kid.
Yeah, and I think that's for him. Basketball is something that can be fun, more fun for him than like there's not as much pressure, and he gets asked all the time about Jared and all the things, and rightfully so. But I think for him, he doesn't have to. Like I said, he doesn't have to carry the load. And I think he's enjoying that part of it. I get to just go out and play and be around my guys. And I think we've seen that difference from him in the last couple of games that he's played with us.
Looking at some guys, I mean, with your depth too, I think Bo Schlarman, I feel like he's really come. I mean, he's only a sophomore. I'm sure he didn't play as much last year, but he's putting some quality minutes in for you guys.
Yeah, Bo is. He's put a lot of time in the weight room. He tore his ACL as an 8th grader. So he missed his entire 8th grade season.
Gotcha.
Played was very, very good for our freshman team last year, got some JV minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And as things progressed this summer, actually Tatum not being around opened the door for him and a couple of other guys, and he took full advantage of it. Bo is very, very strong. And he brings a physicality and a presence with him, and then he can step outside and shoot the three. He's been very efficient for us. I think I looked at it today. I think he's shooting like 66%, something in that neighborhood from the floor.
Yeah,
71%, Coach.
Okay, I shortchanged.
That's not counting yesterday's game. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and he's very effective in his minutes. He is really done a great job in the things that we're trying to do defensively and covering things up and rotating. and filling a really nice role for us. We got Cale Harris, who played a lot for us last year. He came off the bench late yesterday. He hit the three that put us up in the fourth quarter for good. Made some big time plays. Noah Wells is a kid that's come off the bench kind of out of nowhere. He's another one of those Fort Thomas snipers that we seem to keep growing and building. And so we have a very deep team. We lost a senior JP Schaefer to a knee injury 2 Saturdays ago. And he's been out. We'll get him back probably at New Year's. So it's fun. We scored 86 points on Friday night, and our leading scorer had 15. And that's what's fun about this group. They all can do a little bit. They all share it, and they take so much joy when the other guys succeed.
And you mentioned the word 8th grader, and I get excited when I hear the name Emil Wimsey. You've seen a lot of talent walk through that school, but I mean, in terms of upside and potential, imagine Emil's up there, because I hear a lot of people talk about that first game against St. Henry, a couple dunks, and you're just like, as an 8th grader, you're like, what?
Yeah. So what? I'll be honest; those two kind of surprised me. Now, his first day of practice, we were in the middle of a scrimmage segment. He cuts back door, and somebody threw him a great pass. He went up and dunked it in practice. I was like, holy cow! I haven't seen that since Sam Vincent, and that wasn't quite that. And it wasn't when Sam was a freshman.
Yeah.
But Emil has a tremendous upside. He's got a knack for scoring. He's got a great length. But what has impressed me the most with him is the type of teammate and kid that he is. When you're that young and there's a lot of expectation and there's a lot of hype, that he comes to practice every day with a smile on his face and just enjoys being around the guys. He's got such a physical, I'm going to use the word gap, right? Being an 8th grader versus being, a 13, 14-year-old 8th grader versus an 18, 19-year-old senior, right? Like he's that competition gap, but he has done a very good job of just trying to fit in with our guys and understanding where he can help us on the varsity. And he takes a great deal of pride in that. And since day one, like that's been his MO, and our guys have really taken to him, and it's been fun to see him, and he's going to continue to grow. We had a little conversation yesterday. I said, this is the first time in your life you've ever been on a scouting report. And he kind of looked at me, and I said, yeah. I said, in AAU, nobody preps for you, right? You don't, people don't take 3 days of practice to figure out how to guard you, right? They don't list your tendencies. They don't talk about this is how you attack this guy. And I said, you're starting to see some of that, and you're starting to feel that. And then the other part is because he played football, right? He played freshman football for us. So, he was doing football 5 days a week and then right into basketball. Just the physical adjustment at that age and the intensity that we're asking him to play at has been a little bit of a learning curve. But again, he's showing up. He's got a smile on his face. He wants to be good. And he's just a sponge. He spends a lot of time, and I know Coach Andre kind of told him, he's like, look, Mio, you need to get in Vinny's hip pocket. And so, that's where he spends a lot of his practice, especially when they're on the sides and we're rotating. He's trying to absorb as much as he can from our older guys, and it's a neat dynamic to see.
Absolutely. And so looks like you play Cincinnati Trailblazers this week, and then you go to Mississippi, right? Is that
we go to Florida?
Okay.
Yeah, the KHSAA with the new arbiter system.
Yeah,
you can only put in your home games, and then if you're playing out of state, I don't know what happens.
It's a mess.
So yeah, it is not intuitive. So yeah, we're gonna leave. We'll get on the bus at 6 a.m. the day after Christmas. We're gonna go to Destin and play down at Freeport High School down there. They do a really nice job. There's a couple other Kentucky schools. Letcher County Central's in our bracket. For the first time, we are playing. Our girls are traveling with us, so the boys and girls are playing in the same tournament. And We play Tupelo Christian Academy out of Tupelo, Mississippi.
Gotcha.
So that's the first game. And then, like I said, Letcher County, and I think there's a team from Georgia that they're in with. So, we get a chance to do a little bit of fun, travel with our kids, give them a different experience, and hopefully play some good basketball.
So is it like bracket style play?
Yeah, total bracket style, winners bracket, losers bracket. So we drew the lucky straw of playing the first game of the tournament at 9:00 on a Saturday morning after a 12-hour bus ride. So we'll see what what we look like there. But I expect our kids that they'll be ready to play.
Awesome. Yeah, and then hopefully you have good weather, and then you can enjoy the day then after that.
Yeah,
right?
it's a neat the public schools in Florida are not allowed to play on Sunday. Like that's a state rule. So there's no games. So we play on Saturday, Sunday we get the day off, and then come back and play Monday and Tuesday. And our kids have already checked the weather. We got some that have already made tee times. A couple others made some fishing charter reservations. And, we get a chance. We got some great parents, and they'll take care of the kids in the social aspect of it. And for that day, I get to kind of sit back and just enjoy the place that I get to work and the people I get to be around.
All right, let's go to 2021. We got to bring a little bit of a blast from the past.
Yeah,
the state championship year. Be honest, was it harder to get out of the 9th region that year than to win the state tournament? Because you got to recall, that was your St. Henry.
Yeah,
I think I want to say there was 4 teams in the top 10.
4 teams. We were maybe at the end it might have been 12.
St. Henry, Beechwood, right?
Yes,
4.
Yeah, and we were 0 going to the tournament. We were 0-3 against the other 3.
Wow.
We lost. Covcath got us early. We were 3-3 to start that season.
Wow.
And we were down 2 at Scott. And Coach Frohmeyer likes to remind me of that. And then we outscored them by 32 in the second half. And we went on to win 20. Well, I guess we ended up 30. So 27 of our next 28.
Yeah.
And the one was
Beechwood, right?
Was Beechwood. Yeah. And that was a turning point for us. You talked about this team that we have currently putting up the points and how unselfish they were. We had a film session after losing to Beechwood, and I told our guys, I said, guys, we're hanging on to the ball an extra beat, right? Like it should be out now, and we're waiting at like a count of 1,000. And I said, it's just enough to allow the defense to recover so our shooters can't get the shots off. And that was a Friday night. We went to Oldham County to play Louisville St. X. The next day, and I think Zach Barth was out. I think he was sick. We went down there and just lit St. X up. I mean, we moved the basketball, and it was a thing of beauty because Coach Klein likes to remind me of that, and he returned the favor to us a couple years ago at his place with one of his really good teams. But we had that film session, and it was like we just took off from there. And then to your original question, once we got out of the region, I felt like we had a significant advantage because nobody played the way that we did. That group, like it was such a unique group. When you've got 6'5" as your point guard and 6'7" that can shoot it from, or the 6'5" that Muller was, when you can shoot it from 27 feet and it's a good shot. Yeah, and then you've got Will Harold who's shooting 50%, and then Zach Barth who could pretty much do whatever, and then you have a 5-man who we played at point at times, with Oliver Harris, that we so many times in high school you have a great group and you're like, man, if we only had this piece, right? Like if we had a shooter, we had a big, or we had this, then it would be an awesome team. That group had all the pieces. People say, well, you didn't have a big man. Well, we had a 6'5" rim protector. He just happened to be the guy that was our best passer and ball handler. And, we had phenomenal shooters. We had unselfish guys. We had a couple guys that came off the bench for us, Cole Kirker and Leighton Reed, that just filled their roles. And, that group just took off. And it was a lot of fun to coach them for sure.
38 threes, I think it was, in 4 games at Rupp.
Yeah, and we screwed them up. Like, honest to goodness. So we're in the state finals, right? We hit, and we didn't shoot a great percentage in the state
The first
finals.
2 games you did, you guys were like
Yeah.
12 of 15 and like
Yeah,
11 of 18 or
So
something.
yeah, we hit. Well, it helped when Sam opened the state tournament by hitting his first 5.
Yeah.
That did. You could see our whole team relax, and that he sprained his ankle on the last 3 attempts of the half. The kid kind of slid his foot and he came down and he went down in a heap, and our whole locker room silent. We're up 25 or whatever it was. And everybody's like, I go in to address the team and I start talking and there's not a single eye at me. Everybody is looking at Sam and his ankle. And I looked at Sam and I said, "You good?" And he nodded. He said, "Yep." I said, "All right, that's it. We're not worrying about it anymore." And he came out and played well, the second half. But in the state championship, I think we were like 4 of 13, maybe right before half. And they went to a zone. And we missed the first 2 against it. And then we, with like 2 minutes and like 40 seconds, I think, we hit 4 threes. And we went from plus 12 to plus 21. And the game was over.
Yeah.
So,
the way you guys mowed through that field, you guys,
yeah,
I think there was one game within 10 points,
Yeah. No. And to finish that, because you asked, I said we screwed them up. So we get up big in the third quarter. And we missed a couple of threes. And at the media timeout, we got together. My one assistant says, "Coach, we got to quit shooting those first threes." And I looked at him. I said, "Are you sure about that?" And he says, "Yeah." He says, "The only way they get in is if we put a bunch of possessions back in this game," which is, the logic there is 100% right. So, the timeouts at the state tournament are forever long. Yeah. So, we tell the kids, "Hey, turn down the first one. We get a second look. Let's shoot it." So I think Will Harold looks at my other assistant. He says, "Coach, if I'm open, I don't shoot it." And I said, "Not the first one. Let it go." So we break the huddle and they start heading out. And one of the other kids taps me on the shoulder, goes, "Coach, if I'm open, I don't shoot it." I said, "No, not the first one." So then one of the third one looks at me, goes, "Coach, if I'm open, I don't shoot it." I looked at him. I said, "Guys, we got here shooting it. Just let it rip." But you could tell, you could tell in the second, they're all hesitant. We're up this big. We know that we're not really. Should we shoot it? And you could just see it like in there. It just messed with their heads. And honestly, I didn't know that we had broken the record. Yeah. And if I had, I probably would have let them like, "Hey guys, let's go ahead and see what we can do with this thing."
Slaughter it, yeah.
But at the same time, it was all of those threes were in the context of the games. Like, it wasn't like we were trying to do, that wasn't a goal for us. That was just how we played.
Yeah. So Sam, let me get this right. He's still awaiting word from the NCAA on whether he gets.
No, unfortunately, they denied him.
Yeah.
So,
which is insane. Like, how much handing out 5th and 6th years these days? He played, I think, 2 or 3 games over that 30% threshold when he hurt his knee, and wow, that's insane.
Yeah, no, he and I feel terrible for him. He and I still keep in contact, but it's just one of those things that it doesn't make sense. They've got precedents. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know why the NCAA cares about Northern Kentucky.
Yeah.
Right. Like he's not getting rich on NIL.
No.
They're, at best they're going to make, in a miracle world, they're going to get to the Sweet 16. Right. Like, it doesn't, with all the other things that are going on, it doesn't make any sense. But it is what it is. They went to court. They tried it. The NCAA drug it out, and the ruling was upheld. And I don't know that he has any other options at this point in terms of college basketball. And the hardest part was because they drug it out.
Yeah,
he missed out on an opportunity this year to go overseas and really explore that option.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I know he's still working out and doing the things. Hopefully there'll be an opportunity for him this spring to showcase some things and pursue his dream of playing professionally.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, but like you said, I mean, he's still got his whole life in front of him to do good things, which is really cool. And that is, I don't get that process, but I don't know. Coach, I don't know, Kelch, unless you got something else, we can probably let Kevin get running if he wants, or if you want to add some things.
Yeah, you touched on. I was going to talk about the state championship team, but I was also just going to mention. He mentioned it because the message I try to preach to my team is, you give to this game, it'll give back. Yeah. And he mentioned that earlier about how much this game's given to him, and I just don't think high school kids realize it while they're going through that process. But that's the one thing that I try to get across. If you fall in love with this game now and you give to this game, the game's going to give back probably tenfold.
Yeah. And that's, I was blessed, with my dad to witness it firsthand, right? I got to see the relationships that he had with his players. And that's why I got into education. That's why I got into coaching. We'd be at the grocery store, he's pumping gas and guys are running across the parking lot to give him a hug. And even we would see students that he had in class that were never athletes, never basketball players. And to see that interaction, I was like, that's what I want for my life. I want to be able to impact young people and help them grow and become successful and chase their dreams. That's what I want. And then to see the relationships that he had with his coaches and the fraternity of coaches. And that is so unique. And I got to share this story. There was a picture from the 1979 regional championships when Highlands beat Dickie Beal down at Holmes. And it's Coach Messmer, Coach Shields, and my dad and Mr. Petty. And they're all hugging each other around midcourt, so excited that they had won it. And when I took over at Highlands and my staff came together and it was Scott Blassingame and Kevin Orm and Scott Krause at the time, I said, I want this. I want our staff to be disconnected when we're doing this. And it was sort of a utopian because all the families had young children. They were all in the same stage of life. And, the crazy part about it, right? The regional tournament in 21 is held at Holmes because of COVID.
Yeah.
So we win it.
Yeah.
And I got that picture 8 years after I told my staff, this is what I want. Yeah. Not only did we win it and get to take in the same building. I mean, it was unreal.
Full circle. Full circle moment.
Yeah. Sure. They make movies of that stuff, that's just, it gives you cold chills, Yeah. It just kind of that you got to experience that. That's great.
I was sitting in church today, and that's it. Like I have been so blessed by the Lord, and the things that He's showered upon me is beyond belief. And like you said, if you give to the game and you do it the right way, it's going to give back to you in countless ways. And like I said, the relationships so much. I get to have our alumni night on Tuesday night, and I'm so looking forward to that, to seeing guys that, it's funny because, we weren't very good when I started at Highlands, and those guys come back and they look and they're like, Coach, how did you put up with, it took us 4 games to get to 80. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And so, but they love to see the success of the program and the love for our community and our kids is just awesome.
And I think the great thing about the giving back is, long after you're done with this game, it's going to still be given back with the relationships and connections that you built. And I think that's one of the great things that I enjoy most. Probably still one of the reasons I still coach is the coaching fraternity. But, I'm having some of my players now that I first started coaching are getting married, having families, and getting those wedding invitations, and seeing their kids out and like, well, I know who your mom is. You like her, and it's one of those things that I don't think you get into coaching for, but it's definitely one of the perks of it.
It absolutely is, and education's the same way. I got that first moment. This year was the first year I have one of my students is the child of one of my students.
Oh, wow.
So that tells me I've been at this thing for a long time, and it's so neat to have all those things, and like you said, the connections, the coaching connections, the time and the effort and the love that the coaches put in, no matter whether you win state championships and regional championships, everybody knows what you go through when you're coaching. So that connection and being able to lean into that is very, very special.
Awesome.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking time on a Sunday evening. I know Coach's time on days off are valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some of it with us. And best of luck, not only in Mississippi or Florida, wherever Evan thinks you're going. I knew where Freeport was, but best of luck the rest of the year.
Well, thank you. Same to you. Thank you guys for doing this. This is awesome, and appreciate, Evan, especially everything you do for the Northern Kentucky sports. To have that spotlight on our kids is awesome. So thank you.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Keep them rolling down there.
Will do. Thank you.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. You can't.
There he is.
I mean, the story time you get from coaches is just something that, I could just hang on. But hey, the Bluebirds were up, but now it's the Redbirds down, And look at the hat he's wearing. Man,
you knew that was going to be front and center.
Straight from a Paris game with the Louisville Cardinal hat on.
Hey, I don't play.
I know you don't. That's why you're here. Hey, we only have real guests on this show.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you should be honored. You're the first media personality we had so far.
Really?
You're number one, sports.
Really?
You're always
I should be. I've been doing it for 43 years.
Yeah, we thought it was over at 40. We didn't even know it was good. We didn't know it would go to 3.
Neither did I.
I mean, there's not I know most of our viewers that are 10th region are going to be familiar with Ivan, but I mean, I don't know if there's a better advocate for high school sports in the state, let alone just the 10th region. I mean, this man's everywhere. And not only is he an advocate of, covering it, that man's still playing competitive sports.
Yes.
Are you still doing your flag football league?
Yes, sir.
Flag football, he's playing in the those games, bluegrass games.
Yeah, bluegrass state games, softball, basketball. But I had to take a break, though, because I just had that knee replacement.
Yeah.
But I still play tennis, pickleball. I mean, when I get back, I'm going back and playing. And it's great to go out there and play because the kids I'm playing against, well, I covered some of them, and they was in high school and college. And here I am out there 62 years old playing against these 20-year-olds, and I'm out there balling.
Hey, no knee replacement going to slow you down.
No, absolutely not. No.
So what's going? I guess should we introduce Ivan to maybe some of the 9th region folks that don't?
I don't do nothing with the 9th region.
Go ahead.
Well, hey, folks, we have Ivan Rice. He's a doctor of sports. He is a longtime sports reporter down there in Bourbon County. Does a great job down there covering both Bourbon County and Paris. He's a Greyhound at heart, but I know he's got the best interest of the student athletes at Bourbon County as well these days too. So, Ivan, thanks for joining us, man. I guess I understand you were down. You were actually in Williamstown. You were up close to 9th region territory. And I guess the Lady Hounds had a game today. Yeah,
the Lady Hounds played in the Williamstown Lady Deming Classic. Actually played Villa Madonna, which is down y'all way. And after a slow start, Villa Madonna went up 17-8, and then Paris caught fire, and then they ended up winning the game by 15. And then if they played a winner of the Shelby County and Dayton game.
Okay.
And then Newport is there, which is down y'all way, and then I'm not for sure Somerset, which has got a really good basketball team. Okay. So yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's the holiday breaks, and teams are traveling all over. I mean, I think Bourbon County girls went to Madisonville yesterday and played Madisonville, North Hopkins, and Marshall County. I mean, it's all over. It's a lot of great basketball out there. It's one of the reasons why I love doing what I'm doing, and I don't know why I'm doing it. I mean, I want to retire. I want to, and every time I see y'all guys at the state tournament, that's the first thing I say is that I want to retire. And guess what? Here I am, year number 43.
Hey, state tournament's where it's at, man. It's
a great time at the state tournament. I feel like the state tournament's where I can just and relax. We done did all that coverage throughout the whole year. Now let me relax.
Like high schoolers.
for him to spend 43 years in that same profession, it must pay well.
Yeah, okay.
You get a good
Let
laugh out of us for
me
that.
tell you about the newspaper. If you don't love what you're doing, do not do what I do. I mean, like I said, 43 years ago when Larry Brennan, bless his heart, he's passed now, the owner of the newspaper, came to me. I was still at EKU, and he came to me. He said, Ivan, can you cover Paris sports until we find someone? That's 43 years ago.
They're still looking.
They're still looking. and then like 7-8 years down the road, Bourbon County people will start getting mad because back then, you guys know, newspaper was huge. It didn't have all these distractions you have now. You got your information from the newspaper. And then like 4 or 5 years down the road, the Bourbon County people kept getting mad. They said, well, the only thing y'all got in y'all paper is Paris. All we get a little paragraph. So then he asked me, could I do Bourbon County? Well, back then I still had that greyhound in my blood. I'm not writing about Bourbon County. I can remember a guy named Tyson Jones. He said, man, you write about Paris all the time. You barely write about us. I said, I don't even like y'all. I said, I don't like Bourbon County. But then as time goes by, you understand what you're doing and you enjoy it. And then you start meeting kids on the other side. And me wearing Bourbon County clothes now does not affect me at all. I'll wear it in a heartbeat. I announced games out there. I kept book out there. I deal with their Hall of Fame out there. Yes, I do a lot of things for Bourbon County, but yeah, my heart is Paris. I mean, I got an education from Paris. That's my heart, but it doesn't hurt me anymore when Bourbon County, if they beat Paris. I feel like whoever wins between Bourbon County and Paris, I get to advance. So that's where I look at the things now.
You got orange in your blood now.
Oh, that orange and red is side by side.
Well, tell us a little about the boys' 40th district this year. I saw Montgomery and Bourbon had a game earlier this week, and it seemed as if Bourbon was starting to make steps in the right direction, but then Montgomery said, all right, not so fast yet. But I assume obviously GRC's strong. We know what they're capable of. Montgomery's strong, but tell us, Bourbon and Paris, can they be competitive in this district?
I mean, I was surprised that the Bourbon County scored against Montgomery County. Obviously, mm-hmm. I was watching the game. Yeah. I mean, Bourbon didn't play well. They were playing well, but they didn't play well all against Montgomery County. Of course, Montgomery County played one of their better games. I mean, they was on top of their game tonight against Bourbon County. Bourbon County's got a good basketball team. They shouldn't be overlooked. I know what Montgomery County did to them, but they still should not be overlooked. Alan Martin's got some players out there. Noah Earlywine. Noah Earlywine can go. The kid can flat out play, and it's shown. But if nobody else on Bourbon County is making any difference, then Noah Earlywine's game is going to be tough because everybody's going to Noah Earlywine. But your big boy in the middle, Big Wilson Nash, he's tough in the middle, and then Mark Perut, he's tough.
Perut, yeah,
Mark Perut. But Bourbon County, they lost some guys last year. Now, I mean, they still have to make up for what they lost last year. But I still think Bourbon County should not be overlooked in the 40th district. I mean, when you look at the 40th district, I mean, GRC is GRC. I mean, I know they almost got beat last night, but Boyd County is a very good basketball team. Yeah. You can't look at GRC and say, oh, they almost lost to that team. Well, guess what? Boyd County would beat any other team in the 40th district. But GRC with Gay and Malachi Ashford, and Bartleson, they're the team to beat in the region. I'm sorry.
They came back from what, like 20 down in that game last night?
They was down 19 and came back.
Boyd had what, like 14 threes in the first half?
14 threes in the first half. 14 threes, end up with 18 threes. So if you want to beat Clark County, you got to at least hit 19 threes in a game to beat Clark. I mean, George Rogers Clark. I mean, when you start out as August, it's still Clark County. and then I look at Montgomery County. Tough situation with Jason Mays. And I'll bring it on here and say it. Hey, look, they let him go, and I understand why. I mean, stuff is out there, but this is a different age of basketball. We're not back in the days where Ivan started out 43 years ago. if you want to be competitive, see, I'm going to tell it. Let me just tell it. And then maybe the newspaper will fire me and I don't have to retire. If you're going to be competitive and a kid walks in your door, well, you're going to open up your door and take him. If I was a high school basketball coach, I would try to recruit every kid in the state of Kentucky that can play and come to my school. Now, do I do it the right way? Well, sometimes you got to do it the wrong way. And college basketball screwed everything up. And now I saw where Ohio is saying they can have an NIL deal. Are you serious right now? Well, you don't even have basketball anymore. It's all about that dollar, and it's all about winning. Everybody wants to win. Montgomery County won the region last year. God, it was a great game with GRC. And to be competitive with GRC, you got to bring some dogs in there. And when Jason Mays and I got along with him great. I mean, the guy, wherever time I talked to him, gave me the utmost respect. And he understood who I was. He knew I didn't like Montgomery County beating Paris or Bourbon County, but I like Jason, raw deal. But hey, I like Dustin Hyde too. I mean, man, Dustin's been friends for a long time. He walked into a tough situation, but he walked into a very good basketball team. Montgomery County can win the district again, and they can win the region. And that's the thing about Montgomery County. And I hate that for my Paris and Bourbon County teams, because let me tell you something about Paris. The Greyhounds, God, their schedule is so loaded.
I was about to say they've played some really tough
No,
games.
they don't. I mean, they've already played Taste Creek, Bryan Station, and Lafayette. They played Lafayette today. Actually,
They played fairly tough with Lafayette.
Yeah, they played them tough. But I saw Paris when they went down to play in Class A against Nicholas County, who is a really good basketball
Really
team.
good.
Probably the Class
Paris,
A favorite in the region, yeah.
Well, Paris was missing 3 starters.
And only lost by 4, huh?
And they lost by 4, winning the whole game.
Mm.
Coach Eli Strait has some guys that the guy Turner. I mean, the kid just plays hard. Braylon Francis, kid plays hard. His 2 sons, they play hard. But Paris, it hurt that they lost a kid to Bourbon County last week. Zorion Snowden was averaging 14 points a game starting, and he transferred out to Bourbon County. I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't. But
that happened a lot in football, it seemed, too.
Huh?
That seemed to happen quite a bit in football. I mean, I know Taekwon went from, Paris to Bourbon, and I'm sure players wanted to go play with him. Like you said, doors are open.
That's what you do, because loyalty to your school, that's out the window, and that's in high school and college both. There ain't no loyalty no more, because when I was in high school, if I even thought about going to Bourbon County, my mom and dad would probably knock me aside my head and say, "You're going to 123 West 7th Street is where you're going at." And that's all we're going to say. Either go there or stay at home. But I like Paris. I like their team. I'm going to be honest, guys. They're not going to compete with GRC. They're not going to compete with Montgomery County. But I think them and Bourbon County is going to have 2 great games during the regular season. And you're playing to see who you're going to play, Montgomery or Clark. They're the teams that beat in the region, and that's the way it's going to be.
And
a few years ago, though, Paris was beating those teams.
Yeah.
They were beating those teams. Of course, Paris has some great basketball team. And they had a guy by the name of Terrence Brooks. I mean, Coach Kelsch, he knows about team.
He's smooth.
He can bring it. Yes, smooth. He can bring it. But when I look at Paris and Bourbon County, I look at them because I've seen the way Paris play. I've seen the way Bourbon play. And those kids are out there. Bourbon County came from Paris, so you can expect how that game's going to be. But when it comes to the 40th district overall, it's GRC not to lose. It's GRC to take it away from Montgomery County, because I still think GRC is the better team. I mean, with Gay and Ashford, I mean, they're just a better team. But I tell you what, Montgomery County got some players now. They got some players. Terry can play. They got some players.
And the way you explain, I think Paris, obviously, Moco, GRC, that's a different animal. But the way you explain the game with Nicholas County, to me, that gives them a lot of optimism going in the All-A tournament, which happens to happen here in early January.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. They play and they play St. Pat the first game. Then they're gonna play Nicholas County again. And Bross is not as strong as Bross normally is. Now that girls team, oh Lord, that girls team is loaded.
We don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, we. Boy, they are
Why not,
loaded.
PK?
Woo.
Why not?
Woo,
Well,
they are loaded.
When I went and took my 45 piece last week from them, I had 3,000 points on the bench. Ashcraft and Tackett did not play. They were out with injury. So
They didn't play?
No, they didn't play.
Oh,
They ain't played the last two games.
Says a lot.
They ain't played the last 2 games.
Oh, but they're not playing against Paris later on down in the year.
Man, I don't know about all that.
He's trying to get a scouting.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a scouting report on that. But the thing about Paris,
sports. But isn't Paris fairly young this year though?
Oh yeah, they're real young. He starts his son. He's a freshman, and the Jenkins kid, him and Sexton, they're sophomores and a junior. Francis is a sophomore. Francis is what I call the most underrated player in the 10th region. The kid can flat out go. He transferred from Bourbon County over to Paris because he saw everybody coming from Paris. Well, yeah, I want to play. So he came over to Paris, did a good job on the football field. And Paris got some 8th graders that are playing on the varsity team. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to say this, 2 years from now, not next year, you're going to see it, but 2 years from now and in the years after that, I mean, we're talking about a Paris team that can win the region.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just being honest. I mean, these 8th graders at Paris guy can flat out go. And I know a lot of people have seen a lot of them the last few years. But when you come back to Paris, their schedule this year, I mean, Paris may not win 2 or 3 games. And it's because they're playing all the Lexington schools. And they still going to play Madison Central, Boyd County, Woodford County. They're playing all those teams. And sometimes that makes you better. And it might, because I saw what Paris did to a very good Nicholas County team.
Well, and they still got GRC twice. They still got Moco twice. They still got Bourbon twice, not counting the Lexington schools. So
exactly. I mean, you still got to go. You got to go through that. That's a schedule you don't want to see. Matter of fact, you need to bring the Louisville Cardinals in there and play that schedule. We ain't gonna say the Kentucky Wildcats. No,
Kentucky have a losing record against that team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you got to bring the Louisville Cardinals in there to get past that schedule. Tough. It's probably the toughest Class A schedule in the state of Kentucky by far. I don't think any Class A team is playing the schedule that Paris is playing right now. And I'm going to tell you what, ain't a lot of 6A schools that's playing the schedule that Paris is playing right now. And you know, you with a new coach, you got a lot of new kids out there. So it's different, but hey, I'm rolling. I'm still rolling with it.
Talk about these young kids in Paris. You better put a fence up, man, and not let them go elsewhere.
Oh, that's another thing. You don't know what's going to happen between now
and tomorrow.
And tomorrow. You don't. I mean, like I said, we just lost a kid to Bourbon County. I mean, last week, and he was playing well. He's a great kid. Don't get me wrong, great kid playing well, and he's gone. You don't know the next day, even the next hour. What's going on behind the scenes? Seems like everybody's working behind the scenes, and everybody know Paris has those great kids in middle school. They're not only the good basketball players, they good football players. Where Dane Demery can have a really, really good football team next year. I know we're in basketball, but Evan, watch out for them Greyhounds in football next year. If everything stays around and nobody leaves the program, and it's not the coach. I mean, parents are making these decisions.
Yeah.
It's parents. I mean, when I was a 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old kid, once again, we grew up a little bit different. Yeah. We cared about the team in the front of we was wearing. We cared about that team. We didn't care about nobody else. And once again, like I said, today, that's not it. Hey, let's go over here to see what we can do here because we know they're going to make the state tournament. But if you stay at home, you still can have your name put out there. It doesn't matter where you go. If you good enough, they will find you. And I keep telling people that all the time. I don't care how bad your team is. If your team is good enough, they will find you if you make a name for yourself. And I'm going to throw this out here. We had those 2 track girls, Brawley Klein, Tasia Speaks. D1. at some very good top-notch D1 schools. Bradley running track, UK, Taser scholarship in Louisville. Running at Paris, they didn't even have a track team. They didn't even have a track. And they could have went, you think people didn't try to talk to them to get them to come to their schools? No, they ran for Paris and they made a name for themselves. And that's what I'm saying. It's not only Paris, it's every school. Every school is losing kids to other schools. I mean, it's like college basketball. You can't really get into your team because you don't know who's on your roster. I don't even know who's on Paris roster.
So quite the coaching dynamic down there then. I mean, Coach Strait, Coach Martin, all new faces to the district and the region. And then, you know, Dustin High, like you said, a lot of people familiar with him from the girls' side of the boys' side. So, I mean, 3 new coaches in the district. And then, you know, obviously, you know, Josh Cook, who's now been there for 10 years. So tell us what maybe Coach Strait and Coach Martin bring to the table, you know, what maybe people should expect when they see their teams play.
Well, let's go with Coach Martin. This is his second year, by the way. He was there. He was there last year. Yes,
I thought D-Rod was still there.
Yeah, D-Rod. He was there. Coach Martin was there last year.
My bad.
So this is his second year at Bourbon County. I mean, you can. They got different kids out there like Juju and these other kids that high league. They got kids that they're going to play hard. They're going to play hard, but Bourbon County is a 3-headed monster. They go as Wilson goes, Early Wine goes, and Mark Perut, who I still consider another sleeper in the region, that he could probably start for any team in the region because the kid just works hard. The kid he's not worrying about how many points or how many rebounds he gets. He just want to win basketball games. And those 3 is what's going to lift Bourbon County up. If those 3 are not having a good night, Bourbon County's not going to win. And they still got some guys, Quentin Rice, who started at Paris, obviously went over to Bourbon County with his dad, Taekwon. But Q is going to make a difference for Bourbon County. And then once the kid that transferred from Paris to Clark County over to Bourbon County, the Fields kid, once him and Snowden gets on that varsity team, which they're not eligible right now, then Bourbon County's going to be pretty good. And Allen Martin's got a good basketball team. He lost a lot of good seniors. But when you look at Bourbon County, if they behind Early Wine. If Early Wine is on, then Bourbon County is on. But, of course, Wilson and Perut needs to help out too. I mean, Bourbon County is not going to beat you going up and down the floor. I don't see it yet. When I watch Bourbon County, when they get that half-court set and they find a shot for Early Wine, or Early Wine creates a shot, that's when Bourbon County's at the best. Now, they can get out for you on defense. They will get out for you on defense with Bourbon County. With Coach Strait, he was an AAU coach. You know, he coached some great kids in AAU, but this is high school basketball. The game is different from AAU. And what's going to hurt Coach Strait, and I've seen him in practice, the guy knows the game. The guy knows how to coach. And it's going to look bad for him if Paris does finish like 3-27 or 3-25 or something like that. Right now they haven't won a game. And I don't know when that first game going to come. Hopefully against St. Pat. But St. Pat is not as bad as St. Pat was. So you got to play St. Pat now, and they should do well in the All-A. But Coach Strait, I mean, God, they played tough defense. They turned Lafayette over 25 times today. They just didn't make shots. That's the key with Paris. They just didn't make shots. But they Guy Turner and his son and Landon Brown and Braylon Francis. And then Paris got the 6'8" and the 6'7", the 2 kids that transferred from Nicholas County. They still a project, but they still are good when they're in the game because size is size. And if you got any halfway type of ability, it's going to help the team. But I think Paris is more defensive oriented, and they will get after you on defense. They play hard on defense. That's what I like about Paris's team. I just don't think they got enough bodies to compete against the upper teams in the 10th region. In that middle bunch, I think they're just fine. But the Campbells and the Montgomerys and the Clarks, I just don't see it. But I think everybody else, they got a shot to play with them because they do play hard. If they can learn how to shoot the basketball, they can win some games.
Well, they're
outside of
they're no different than the other teams then, because not very few teams can play with the Campbells, the Montgomerys, and the Clarks.
Absolutely not.
that's
Absolutely.
what I'm wondering. Outside of those three, is there a team in this region that you guys on a great shooting night could pull something off?
I don't see one team. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm the doctor of sports. All the teams in the 10th region can hate me. I'm telling you right now, I don't see any other team. Only other team I would have said it would be Nicholas County and Bourbon. They would be. I thought Bracken County there for a minute, but then that got shot down real quick. I'm thinking Nicholas County and Bourbon County. Nicholas County, hey, they got some good players. Morton can play.
Yeah,
Hatton can play.
Smith,
the big boy on the
Blake,
side.
yeah.
I can't think of the big, but Kim
Preston
Deacon's
Blake.
son. Yeah, Blake. Those kids can play, but they already played Clark County. It wasn't even close.
Yeah,
It wasn't even close, and that tells me right there, like, well, wait a minute, really? In Nicholas County, let me just throw this: you take away Clark County, Montgomery County, and Campbell County, Nicholas County wins the region. I mean, bottom line. But as far as competing against those three, those are only two teams I can see that actually has a outside, very slim shot of maybe overtaking those three if those three happen to fumble the football and they can't pick it back up. It's Bourbon County and Nicholas County.
So sports, I'll tell you that GRC beat Campbell by 24 at Campbell early December.
And that's the thing about it. And Campbell County would go beat the other teams by 25.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. That's where GRC is at compared to everybody else.
and Campbell will get there. I think they will.
Campbell,
they will get. They always do. They
Right.
always do. They're in the Evans area now. He down there, all them ninth region schools, all them schools got them nice turf fields. We went to Dayton earlier this year, the girls basketball team. Their turf field is awesome. That stadium is awesome where Dayton is down there by the river. It's too close to the Ohio River for me. Too much water. I don't like that. Too much water. But Dayton, and Bearview's field looks good.
Yeah, they just got that.
Looks really, really good. I mean,
all 22 schools now that play football up here in Kenton, Boone, and Campbell County, they all have turf now.
well, see, that's where the money is. See what
That's
I'm
where the
saying?
money
Yeah,
is.
that's where the money is. They
You got orange turf down there.
Must be the money, huh?
You got orange turf down there.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey.
That's right. See, our money ain't as long as their money there. We had to get orange turf.
They couldn't afford green. They had to get
We
orange.
couldn't afford the green. We had to get the orange and black. Couldn't afford it.
Hey, Ludlow's got the red turf now.
Yes.
That was probably a pretty cool football season for you, though, with both those teams. Bourbon, they gave Lloyd a game that in that regular
They
season.
should have won.
Yeah,
They should have won the game. They should have won the game.
Lloyd
And
went 13-0.
If you win the game, then that puts you on that other side of the bracket in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Where
you wanted to be.
You can beat Mary. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter who played Cal in the championship game because you was going to get embarrassed.
Yeah.
It wasn't a single team in Class 3A that could line up with Cal. Cal was going to embarrass you.
I made the argument Cal was the second best team in the state this year.
Trinity number 1, Cal number 2.
And then Boyle's probably in that discussion too.
Yeah, but with Boyle, I'm still moving Boyle down because they lost to Lexington Catholic. I still don't understand how they lost to Lexington Catholic. But Boyle County is really, really good. And I'm going to tell you, any team that beats Beechwood is really, really good. But LCA beats Owensboro Catholic. Of course, Owensboro Catholic blew it.
Yeah.
I mean, they blew it. I mean, you in the red zone that many times, and you throw 2 interceptions, then you don't score. I mean, they blew it. But those teams, Trinity and Kyle, and I don't see Cal going down anytime soon either.
Yeah.
When I looked at their roster and I saw some of the kids came off the bench, they got a team on their bench. Their kids on their bench can probably be a top 5 team in 3A. They could probably be a top 5 team in 3A and can start for everybody else. They can take their whole second team and come to Paris and all of them start. And Paris be the number 1 ranked team in Class A. Bottom line. Now, it ain't just bottom line. But, yeah, it was a great year with Taekwondo, Bourbon County going 10-2. And Paris, though, God, you lost 11 true seniors. And then you lost 11 more transfers. Mm-hmm. So you think about a Class A school losing 22 players off their football team. You only had 34 and you lost 22. Now you bring in a new coach. In the summertime, they only had like 5 or 6 kids coming to practice, the 7-on-7s. I didn't even think Paris would field a team. And for them to go all the way to the region championship game and gave Racing a game.
Yeah.
And to knock off Sayre the way they did, whew. I mean, hats off to Dane Demery. I mean, excellent job. I was not surprised that Bourbon County got to Russell. I wasn't surprised that Russell beat Bourbon County because that's what type team Russell has. They're going to play that smash mouth, slow football, keep Bourbon County athletes off the field, and then let's win the game. I mean, that's Russell. Russell's always been like that. But I was stunned that Russell lost to Lloyd because I thought Russell was better. And then Lloyd should have beat Mary. I thought Lloyd should have beat Mary. And that,
yeah,
but maybe Lloyd was like, well, we can get our state semifinal trophy because we got to play that other team next. Yeah, we might be good where we at right here.
Yeah, turnovers caught up to him that game.
Oh, it was special. Trinity was God. They was Trinity, and then Trinity beat St. X and those guys. Yeah, and that's Trinity. And then with Kyle, Boyle County. I mean, those teams, they just great teams. Kentucky Country Day, of course, down in Louisville. Yeah. I mean, they beating Raceland. It's pretty good. I mean, I love it.
Oh, Ivan.
Hey, so he wants to get on here and talk about me. They called me in for tonight. So the doctor gets to speak tonight. I get to speak, yes. The real doc gets to speak tonight.
Hey, the doctor made a house call tonight.
Yeah, the doctor made a house call tonight up in here. I had to show off my Louisville, because I know the UK people was really happy about their volleyball team. And I told them that Texas A&M, I mean, Louisville had Texas A&M down 2-0 and was winning 23-18 in the third set. Texas A&M comes all the way back and beats them with the reverse sweep. And then you knock out Nebraska, who was undefeated, haven't lost at home in like 100 years. And then you sweep Pitt.
That's destiny.
I told people, I said, guys, if they sweeping Pitt and beating Nebraska, Kentucky's going to have a tough time beating them the second time around. But, God, I didn't think they're going to sweep Kentucky.
No, I didn't get to watch it, but what I read was Kentucky was up 18-12 the first set. And Texas A&M went on a run, and Kentucky never recovered and lost the first set, and then just
got blown out the second set. Yeah, it's got blown out. It's God, but the sports is so good though when you're watching. I mean, it brought a lot of people into watching volleyball because volleyball is a very, very good sport, and we got some very good high school teams in Kentucky with Assumption and Notre Dame and all those guys. It's a good sport. A lot of people, they concentrate on football and basketball. But I tell you what, those girls that play volleyball, they're athletes. Because if us three got out there and played against them, and the way those girls hit that ball for those spikes,
breaking our thumbs.
Oh, the thumbs! You probably got a concussion. I have a concussion every game, not every match, every game, every single game in that match. I'm gonna have a concussion with that ball busting across my head.
Hey. You all we could probably get on your shoulder, sports. We still couldn't spike it.
Man, first of all, I can't jump with them. time they elevate and keep elevating, I'm like, when are you coming down?
That Hudson girl for Kentucky was hitting a 70 mile an hour there. They off the hand.
Can you imagine a 70 mile per hour ball coming at you that close?
And those things aren't soft. They're
not soft. And then they be returning them back. They be getting those digs like it ain't nothing. I would have hit the 4 the first time, and then they would have kicked me off the team.
It's funny you said it because I was at the Assumption Notre Dame state championship game, and that was an epic. It was a five setter.
It was
down to extra points in the fifth set, and then it was a heck of a match. It had like 6-7 Division I players on the floor.
And that's why I keep telling people. Everybody's talking about volleyball in Kentucky. I said, go see Assumption those teams play.
Yeah.
Those kids ain't going to small colleges. Yeah. They going to these big-time top 10 programs. But that's what type of kids they have. Somebody told me that Assumption's second team will win the state championship.
Yeah, they're that good.
Their second team.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they could have beat Notre Dame first team, But they said Assumption's second team could win state championship. So that tells me they just gonna keep rising. God, they're good. They're really good.
I'm not gonna tell our audience. You know, we got quite a few people on here watching live, and I'm not gonna tell them what all goes down at the Paris Super Bowl parties because it's coming up here in a couple of months. But I want you to tell that story about when you checked yourself back into that football game
Against James Clark. I was playing high school football in Paris my senior year, and this is how we loved the game. It was my senior year. We was playing Harrisburg. This is old Harrisburg. Dennis Johnson and Alvis Johnson, Derek Johnson, the Johnson crew, when they played in Harris, they went on the team then. It was the older Harrisburg team. Harrisburg was ranked like number 3. We was ranked like number 4, and we losing the game 20-0. We losing the game 20-0. Well, we get in the fourth quarter, and we start coming back. We make it like 20-14 or something. Well, I'm playing. I'm the starting halfback. James Clark obviously was better than me. And when Evan, his son, played at Paris, played basketball player. I'm talking about his dad.
Okay.
Well, we're in the Harrisburg game, and we're coming back where James Clark runs on the field, said, Doc, you out. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm out? And me and James are boys. I mean, we grew up right beside each other. So he takes me out of the game, and I'm on the sideline, and James is out there playing. Well, I'm mad. I'm like, this ain't going to happen. And I know I wasn't getting the job done. I knew I was not blocking that defensive end. Well, I run back into the game. Ain't nobody told me to go back in. I went back in myself. James, get out. So James Clark leaves the game. He's over on the sideline. It wasn't 2 plays later. We're moving the ball. Next thing I know, the second play, once I returned to the field, the defensive end just threw me like back to Paris. The game was in Harrisburg, and we got sacked for a loss. Randy Reese snapped. Got almighty, James Clark's son. Who is ringing my doorbell? God almighty, James Clark's son. I'm telling you, why don't you hit that man? I said, James Clark said, Coach, I'm over here. Well, who's out there? Ivan's out there. What is he doing out there? Well, he told me to get out of the game. So James Clark runs back over the field, and I saw Randy Reese. I mean, I know he was, back then you could grab you like this and stuff. Yeah. So I ran way down on the side of the football field.
You got more yards running out of the game than you did carrying during the game.
Running scared. Y'all hold on to that. I'm gonna see who's at my door.
He's a trip, man. I'm telling you.
That's good.
And I guarantee you that's all true. Or he's told it so much that it's become truth.
Yes.
Because it never changes.
I think my favorite was the Bourbon County's old floor.
Oh, yeah.
Rubbery linoleum or whatever.
Right. I don't know what kind of material that was.
I was like, man, I loved it. You could bounce. I could get some hops. I could even dunk on that floor. Then Ivan Rawls comes in. He's like, Ivan, you can't dunk. He's like, it wouldn't have mattered if they were 8-foot goals.
Oh, man. There ain't 2 better people than Ivan Rawls and Ivan Rice.
Yeah, man. Especially when you got them together.
And we got every year right before the regional finals of the girls, we all get together usually and go out to eat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, ever since you went north, you've kind of shunned us. Look at my man door dashing.
Tina brought me some food from their Christmas party because she knew I couldn't make it this evening. You know who Tina is.
Oh, I know. I don't know why she still puts up with you.
I don't either.
That's what it is. I was telling Coach Kelsch and whoever's listening about the Bourbon County floors, and you're like, oh, I love them, man. You can get some bounce off them. I could dunk, and then
the rubber floor.
Yeah, I was like, you can't dunk.
The rubber floor, I could dunk on Bourbon County floor. The rubber floor, I could dunk. And my 5'5", I mean, Evan, I had some hops. I was a 45-foot triple jumper, a 22-foot long jumper. I had some hops when I was in high school. I didn't always look like this. I mean, when I was 17 and 18 years old, I mean, I could hop. I used to jump over picnic tables. I mean, that's how I warmed up because I could hop back then. But now, you're 63 years old. Your body tells you it's over.
I get it.
It's over. So that's why I play quarterback. I sit back there and I'm throwing the rock in softball. Now I'm the catcher. And then when I get to first base, normally if I burn somebody when I hit it, I'm trying to get inside the park home run. I just want to get to first base, and now come and get me. Come and get me.
Pinch runner.
Yeah, come and get me. Tennis. I mean, I thought I was good till I played against him and Travis. But I tell you what, pickleball, I'm really, really good in pickleball.
All right.
You said
really good.
He said the same thing about tennis.
Well, I had Aaron Speaks as a partner. That's the problem.
You were handicapped from the start.
I was very handicapped. I had to play my game and his game. And that's
one time you served and told him to get off the court. Aaron, you just go ahead and serve. Then Aaron, once you serve, get off the court.
Yes.
What do you think about Rawls? Look at this. Couldn't dunk with a 10-foot ladder.
Oh, he couldn't either. And the bad thing about it, we're from the same hometown. We was born in the same hospital. I mean, I could have been a Montgomery County Indian or maybe a Mount Sterling Trojan. That's who I would have been back in the days. I could have been one of them. I could have been the blue and red of Montgomery County until my dad said, let's come back to Paris, because he went to Paris Western and my mom went to Du Bois in Mount Sterling. So we ended up at Paris. Otherwise, I could have been Montgomery County Indian. I would have never been a sports writer because Dan Manley been there more than what I've been.
Dan got 10 threes in Hall of Fame last year.
Yeah, and I know it. I mean, what?
Did he?
Yes, he did. And that's and the thing about these Hall of Fames.
Talk to me, sports. Talk to me.
You have the coaching. It's the turnover. They don't know this region. They don't know the history.
Yeah.
And you can put somebody in the Hall of Fame that just got out of school because that's all they know. They don't know what so-and-so did back in the days. All they see is what's going on now. Yeah. And somebody like Dan Manley, he should have been in there a long time ago. Yeah. But if you don't get that school to, write something up, everybody always wants something for nothing. Yeah. But why ain't somebody in it? Why ain't so-and-so in it? Well, guess what? Do the research.
Yeah.
Research, find it, because all this stuff on the internet. Matter of fact, what's that thing called? Owl or whatever? Copit or whoever it is. Ask them. They might know who the person is, but you got to take the time out. And if you sitting there saying, why ain't so-so in the Hall of Fame? Well, did you nominate them? Well, yeah, but I'm not allowed to nominate. All you got to do is go to the school system, go to the AD, go to the coach and say, look, I want to nominate this person for a Hall of Fame. I can't do it, but y'all can. Here's the information. Just don't go to the coach and say, well, why ain't so-and-so in the Hall of Fame? Give us something.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about it. I like the Hall of Fame. I think it's good. I think we got one of the better Hall of Fames across the state of Kentucky. And then, of course, Northern Kentucky, they're Hall of Fame, and they're really, really good, too. But I'm just saying, vote. Nominate these people. Nominate the ones you think. I mean, and I'm talking about the older people.
Yeah.
That knows. Instead of just sitting there talking about it, nominate them. Go to your school system. Nominate them to make sure they can get into the Hall of Fame. And you got to give them some information because these new coaches do not know. Yeah. You think Allen, and I'm not picking on Allen Martin and Eli Strait, but they're my district. They don't know the 10th region. I mean, I guarantee Coach Strait does not know where Augusta and Bracken County is. Don't have a clue. Doesn't understand that Augusta and Bracken County's distance is just as far as us going to play in Cincinnati or Louisville. They don't even know that. And that's what I said about some people. They don't know until people come to me all the time. Well, how come so-and-so in the Hall of Fame? Well, what they do? Give me something.
Yeah.
You give me something, I can submit it. I mean, I'm allowed to submit. I don't know why they let me do that, but I am. I'm allowed to submit both boys and girls Hall of Fame. If you think somebody needs to be in it, send it to me. DoctorSports@AOL.com. Yes, I still use AOL because I'm old school.
Well, and I've had that same conversation. Like a lot of people, and I'll always say, go to the coach or go to the AD of that school.
Yes, go to them. Go to
because
them.
the first thing I did when I took over at Pendleton County was, and I asked the AD every year, and I asked somebody every year, who was here long before me that needs to be nominated for the Hall of Fame? And we have discussions about it. I mean, I think we've talked it. We've made a list. We've nominated people now that have, gotten in, and we're waiting on some people who've been out 5 years so we can nominate them. But I think some of them think they just automatically get put in.
Just get in. I mean, every school doesn't have an Ivan or a Puck.
Right.
I mean, Puck has been around Paris basketball over 50 plus years. I've been a sports writer in the community for 43 years. And of course, I went to Paris, so you might well say 50 plus years. I've seen the district. I've seen the guys play. I've seen boys and girls, both the old 37 district. And we got that new 37 district. The old 37 district was better. I kind of wish we still had it. Oh, Lord, bring the old 37 district back. Please. But I'm saying, we know because we've been there. Ivan Rawls, guys that's been there for a long time. Jim Swinford, been here for a long time. We've seen all these people play. But when people come up to me and say, well, why ain't so-and-so in the Hall of Fame? And then when I say, give me something, oh, that's like, oh, let me stay away from that. Because I don't know. All I know, he scored 17 points in a game one time. That's it. I mean, was it in a JV game? Was it a varsity game? Was it against the David School, or was it against Louisville Male? Give me.
He was on the honor roll in 3rd grade.
Who?
Whoever they want in the Hall of Fame. That's what they give you.
Exactly. Yeah. They're in the honor roll in 3rd grade. They're in the science class. They in the math class. Well, you know what? I love academics. Academics, you gotta have it big time goal. But this is the Athletic Hall of Fame. You got to do something in sports, and then you got to keep your grades so you can play sports.
All right, sports. Go eat your food. We appreciate your time.
See what Tina. And it smells really, really good too. It smells really, really good.
We appreciate you rubbing it in. Me and Evans worked on this show all day. We ain't had time to even eat breakfast.
Hey, man, y'all, hey, guys. But like I said, anytime you can talk sports, and I get the opportunity, I'm glad I got the chance to get back from Williams. Because when the game's over with, speaks to them, was obviously going to watch the next game. Well, like I said, I'm not playing. I don't need to watch nothing. I said, let me get back, and then let me get on here and to be with you guys. I mean, you know how we are. I mean, Evan and I, God, we have a great time at the state tournament. Kelsch, when he comes and speaks for the Super Bowl party, but even way before that, we've been on each other for a long time, and it's good to be with familiar faces, and I enjoy it. I talk about teams a lot, but I'm Paris and Bourbon, true, and it's tough, but I love it, and just being on here with you guys, like Ivan Ross said, I'm gonna talk. I mean, give me a mic, I'm gonna talk. I'm not like some people when I'm trying to do an interview with somebody and they like, no, don't ask me no questions. I'm just gonna talk.
And you're gonna be real with it too.
And I'm gonna keep it real. I mean, like I said, I'm trying to get fired. Once I get fired from the newspaper, I can step away. So I'm trying to get fired. Yes. Yes.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. I hope to see you around here soon too. I hope to be in the gym.
Yes.
Good seeing you,
brother.
Hey, make sure those two girls are out too when they play Paris, Kelsch.
Well, I'm hoping to have them back here in a week, but we'll see.
Okay. Oh, you can have them back every game. Every game except at one.
All right, deal.
All right, man.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
Man, I could talk to him forever, but
yeah.
Before we end this show here, let me go real quick. And KDA, a leader in the K-12 furniture market from the 1st to the 16th regions, have helped countless districts across the state redesign existing rooms as well as create visions for brand new buildings. Reach out to Jackson Strong via email at jackson@kdaspaces.com or call 859-910-6750 with any questions or requests. KDA, elevate your space. Appreciate them as always. I do want to say, speaking of Jackson Strong, Evan, I do want to mention that the Pendleton County Wildcats beat Hazard at the Pikeville Invitational Tournament yesterday. And I think they played Pikeville today.
Yeah, they
and
lost to Pikeville.
Yeah, beat them 13.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup.
I wanted to give a shout out to our old buddy Coach Code, who got his 100th win this week at Dixie.
Yep.
I saw Coach Code played at the Bracken County Kobe Halls Classic this week. So I saw he played against my Augusta Panthers and gave them a pretty good thumping. I talked to my uncle yesterday, and my uncle doesn't watch a lot of high school basketball, but he did watch Dixie take on the Panthers. And when he was talking to me about it, he said, Augusta played this Dixie Heights team, and them boys are some trees. They got some big boys.
Yeah, they got a big lineup.
And then I saw they lost by 3 to Danville Christian yesterday. So a pretty good showing for Dixie Heights in the Kobe Halls Classic.
Yeah, I bet that was a good matchup with height versus height, because Danville Christian has – I don't know what their size is that they returned from last year, but I know they had like 6'11" and 7 feet in the front court. So, and I got to see Dixie Heights play Connor earlier this week. That was a really good game. Went back and forth all the way throughout, and Dixie ended on like an 18-4 run to win it. So,
well, and I've kind of made a list of course, you know, we're already an hour and a half and don't want to go much longer because
I get it.
I mean, I could talk on here for 24 hours, but but I do. I know that in that Gateway Classic, we talked about it last year when we were talking with Coach Johnson from Holy Cross. I know they beat a team out of North Carolina, and they also beat Scott County today, 65-61.
Yeah, so they're in the championship. They'll play either Moco or Hopkinsville, whoever.
Yeah, well, and I made a question mark. Does this set up a Holy Cross versus Montgomery County final? I saw Montgomery County won a very tight one against Connor, 79-78.
Yeah, that was an overtime. Game. Yeah.
And Montgomery County seems to be rolling right along with Coach High. But,
yeah, they're coming around.
Campbell County, we talked about them last week. They had a 3-0 week, beating Cooper, Bourbon, and Ludlow.
Mm-hmm.
And
they had their 25-year anniversary of their
against Ludlow, Dan Sullivan, yeah.
Yeah, because Dan Sullivan coaches Ludlow now, so they recognized his team at halftime of that game. So that was a pretty cool gesture.
Maybe we can get Coach Sullivan on here in the next couple of weeks and
maybe
talk to him about that, because I think that'd be cool to talk about. I saw where Cove Cath won their first game in the King of the Bluegrass, but did they lose their second one?
Yeah, they lost to Mail. They were up pretty much the whole game there.
Well, they beat North Laurel today, and that's a big win. They beat them 71-67, so that makes them now 7-1. So they're off to a good start, and they'll go to Sarasota, Florida after Christmas.
Yeah, they got the. I think they still play the 5th place game tomorrow.
Okay, nothing's on where I heard yet.
Yeah, they will play that. I want to say it'll be another solid opponent because it's the way that tournament works. But yeah, they blew a late lead to Mail yesterday, and let's see what else. Beechwood, I'll tell you what, man, they're 7-0 now. Ross Hart has.
I watched the Beechwood and Pendleton County game, and in the first half, those two teams combined for like 15 threes. I'd never seen two high school teams that shot lights out like they did.
Yeah.
But the second half, I think Beechwood. I mean, I know the score was still only 7, but Beechwood took kind of control, got to the basket, didn't rely on threes as much, and Pendleton County had a lead at the half, I believe, and 10-point lead, maybe 7 to 10-point lead, and Beechwood just kind of took over. But that Top Miller kid,
yeah, he can shoot it.
Nice player, and I'll tell you,
he's a sophomore too.
I'll tell you who impressed me as much as anybody was the Brockett. He doesn't shoot the ball, but he knows his role. Yeah, he defended, he rebounded, he didn't.
He's their best rebounder by far. He's a football kid and really savvy around the basket and just in terms of going to get the ball.
His mom's a coach. You know he's been taught right. She does a good job.
Yeah.
Hell, she played at Old Dominion when Old Dominion was the upper echelon of girls sports. But and one thing else I saw, I thought this was a pretty big accomplishment. He's got over 1,000 career points and 1,000 career rebounds now. He got that today for Nicholas County. And, nowadays, I've heard multiple coaches say, what are we doing recognizing kids for 500 rebounds? They play 30 games a year. They play 5 years, 150 games. That's only 3-4 rebounds a game. I get all that, but 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds to me is pretty impressive. So just want to congratulate Preston Blake. And I also want to encourage anybody that's listening or anybody that listens to this after we're done, any kind of accomplishments, videos, anything you see or whatever, send them out to me through Stay Hot Podcast on Twitter. And, we'll look at them, and if they're worthy, we'll post them, because all we're trying to do is promote teams, players, include some humor with some guests. And, with that being said, but Nicholas County gets Connor tomorrow in the Gateway Classic. So okay. I think that'll be another early good test for Nicholas County, because I think Connor has shown, 79-78 with Montgomery County. Yeah. So, that'll give Nicholas County another chance to get better and kind of show where they're at right now.
Yeah, I'd say we got 2 more days of ball, and then we'll get a little break, and then next weekend I think it'll start picking back up.
We especially with Christmas break, we want to wish everybody out there happy holidays, Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Probably not much more basketball after tomorrow until the post-Christmas tournament. So
the Scott Winter Classic's the next 2 days, so that'll be some good games.
Yeah, so check that out. And but thank you once again, guys, for tuning in. Evan, once again, thank you. Merry Christmas to you and your family. And we'll see you guys next week.
Stay hot.
Stay hot.
Yo, check it. 9th and 10th regions, stand up. I say stand up. Stand up. Bright lights shining, about to put on the show. The Stay Hot Podcast, where the real ones go. High school hoops, future legends on deck. Talking next up, star sport and Nike check. From the hardwood grind to the highlight play. Breaking ankles, dropping dimes, scoring every way. Chasing big moments in every manner. From driveway dreams to championship banners. It's the passion, the culture, the hustle, the grind. Every jumper, every crossover, greatness defined. Shooting the deep three or rocking the rims on a small town stage or in sold out gyms. So lace up your kicks, turn the volume up. The season don't end till we get to rough. Future legends in the making, every player grinds to stay high.